Challenge you. Come here. Pathetic.
Ivy Dami mommy. I love Ivy Dami mommy.
There's no room for fear in my soul.
Oh, baby. We're just gonna rematch the random AI, see what happens. While I listen to
Welcome
heavy
to the
metal.
stage of history retold.
Yeah. But basically, hello, I see you, deceased rat. It says hello.
Your punishment will be quite severe.
Your punishment will be quite severe. It seems I must also draw steel. Yes, you must, bitch. Ow, I'm sorry. Ow! Oh, I missed.
Challenge you. Come here. Know your place.
Pathetic.
Battle 2. Fight.
Yeah. Big dick attack. I love the big dick attack. Erectus Magnifus!
Another prisoner to the thorns.
Alright, have fun. Ooh. Yep.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
A little bit of everything, it seems.
3. Fight.
Ow! Ow! Damn it, I missed. What? Got your legs! Oh, she could have got me. I'm surprised she didn't.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought.
For better or worse, this
For
sword
better or
is my
for
fate.
worse, this sword is my fate. So are them titties. Alright, now I'm gonna show you Amy. Amy's one of my best characters. I'm okay with Ivy, but again, I'm only fighting hard AI, so I can't flex too much. Because, you know, hard AI is not really that bad. I want to do my custom version of her. This is my custom Amy. So you give her a little makeup, a little earrings, you know, make her look a little more fashionable. A little more noble. Yes, if you know.
Blood, flesh, and soul.
Time to
check in on you again.
You
You
disgust
disgust me. What are you plotting?
Battle 1.
Alright, let's see what I can do here. Ow! Daddy! Oh, I could have. Damn it, I'm so down. I could have.
Now you know the meaning of pain.
Stand.
Now you know the meaning of pain. He's gonna let me do this? Yes, he is.
Middle.
Sorry! Oh, I'm getting my butt kicked now. Oh, faked. Well done. Ow.
You're looking smug.
Oh, ow.
Curiosity killed the cat. It's over.
Oh, man, he got me. That was good. Shit. Oh, it's getting too cocky.
So weak. So weak. Time for bed.
Boom! That was perfect. Damn. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I will not be anyone's puppet.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized. Battle 4. Fight!
Curiosity killed the cat. Now you know the meaning of goodbye. Now
Don't bother us again. Amy Stoyer is really good, though. It's time to play the newest
Welcome
rendition.
to the stage of history.
Okay, I don't really care for Huang, but he's alright, I guess.
From the shadows, I strike the darkness.
Huang's kind of cool, I'll show you him. I don't really know how he plays, but we're gonna learn together. I was like, oh yeah, Huang seems like a cool character, but he's not my cup of tea, but we'll see. We'll see what I can do.
Now, the noble...
Fight me. Fight me.
You think you can beat me?
Oh, hey, it's the custom character I made. She's adorable.
Fight!
Ow, ow, ow. Ooh, that was cool. Ow.
Calm yourself. I seek not your life.
Battle 2. Fight! What?
Ow, ow. Oh, that was cool. Oh, dang. Huang's kind of neat, actually. Got like these weird stances that he could throw these talismans in and kind of control the battlefield. Ow. Oh, damn, I thought they were going to go for a hit. Damn. Holy crap. Getting beat with a rod. Oh, I think I fucked that up. Yeah, I did. Damn. Damn. Yeah, I don't really know how to play Huang, so...
I've learned all I can here.
I learned all I
Time
can
to
here.
move on.
Time to move on. Nice! It just disappears into the night. That's cool. Alright, I can't complain. That was pretty cool. Now I gotta show off my custom characters. So I'm gonna go in depth here and kind of show you the story that I have for all my characters, my little roleplay ideas. So I'll do Type 23, which is kind of a...
Unknown soul.
I'm kind of wanting to be like a vampire robo hybrid kind of thing. So he has a exoskeleton made purely from one of the strongest metals in the universe. I still can't figure out a good name for it, right? Kind of like Wolverine and X-Men, you know, but it's just his bones and his nervous system,
Don't
and
underestimate me.
instead of him having, he doesn't have blood, he has blood magic. So it's kind of like blood, but it allows him to really overclock his brain to superhuman abilities. So basically, Type 23 doesn't really have superpowers. He more has superhuman sight, senses, including like where people are at. He can hear them, he can sense where people are at, like from miles away. He can overload his muscles to the point where he can run basically the speed of sound. So he's not superiorly, like, he's ridiculously fast. But, and he can tell, this is why I decided to do this. So, oh fuck, I was gonna do a teleport move, but I fucked it up. Crap. Because when you soul charge with Gro's fighting style, he has a whole bunch of teleporting moves, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with Type 23. Shit. And then this is Momiji, my other custom character.
No more half measures.
The battle is over.
But he has chains because he was created in a lab, so he's basically a corpse brought back to life with blood magic, which was the only ones that have blood magic are this original vampiric lords, which are the gods of all vampires, basically. So he can basically use blood magic to enhance his abilities even further to pretty much match godlike proportions, but obviously that's all he can do. Each type series has their own powers, specially catered to what their body can handle, because blood magic adapts to the user. And then of course I have Velix, which is one of the vampiric gods. He's the vampiric god of knowledge. So he's a very smart, calculating person, and I'm just gonna random. So, but he ends up, I actually end up killing him in my story, so he ends up dying, because these vampiric gods think they're gods and they can't die, so they get careless until they find out, oh, we can be killed.
Warriors cross sword. I can see the
We aren't exactly, because technically they really aren't gods, but they're godlike.
Battle 1. Fight! Wide up. Battle 2. Fight!
Oh shit. You guys are a great thing in this game. But obviously if you time them like perfectly or else they don't work.
Why? You're a disappointment.
But yeah, that's basically him. So he's just a really knowledgeable guy, and he's always gathering data on his enemies, so that's how he ends up destroying people, as he finds out their weakness. Of course, we have the cold and calculating Frost, which is again another person who believes he is a god, and pretty much is, and he manipulates matter with his mind and creates solid objects. So literally the weapons that he creates, which again this game has, are he's basically forming atoms into existence with his mind. So he brings those weapons into existence with his mind.
Battle 1. Fight!
I kind of stuck with this style, so...
It's over! Nice try. Battle 2. Fight!
But Frost's ideologies are a little different than most people's. So he kind of just believes humans are just disgusting people. Like, they use each other, they're dishonest. Yes, there are some good ones, and he wants to keep those in society, but he just believes human beings are these disgusting animals that need to be, like, basically, basically brought under control, kind of like animal control. Oh, I thought that was far enough. So, he basically creates a society by taking away, and through the help of all of these gods, these vampiric gods, right? He takes away things that have made human society thrive. Technology, you know, the invention of the printing press, like things that really helped humanity thrive in history, he took. And he kind of was like, you know what, if you're gonna use these things irresponsibly, you don't deserve to have them. So, sorry. And he takes this, you know, he takes this information and he eliminates the minds that are the brilliant minds that created this technology, you know, so all the engineers are gone, the doctors are gone. Like, basically the spinning cogs that make the economy function, he basically destroys it, and the economy just collapses because, you know, everyone has different skill sets. So there were no engineers to keep cell phones. There was no resources because he, you know, Cross took them all, and he's so powerful he could keep everyone at bay. So that's his whole story, and he ends up perfecting this society, but finds out there's still always going to be terrible people in the world. So no matter what he does, he's basically trying to create this perfect society, but he goes a little too far in some circumstances, you know. Like, if you steal, you die. If you lie, you die. If you make any mistake, you are dead. So he ends up killing nearly the whole human population.
You done talking?
And then this character is Type 47. She's another Type series, another creation of a character that I will be showing. But her body couldn't handle the blood magic, but it was strong enough to sustain it. So this blood magic basically is pumping through her body and giving her ridiculous speed and strength. And just, oh damn, he broke through it, nice.
Know your place. Know your place.
Shit, I'm fucking up. But yeah, she basically has superhuman speed and strength, and I originally designed her to have claws, you know, and her gloves, I wanted them to transform into knives, like pop out like the claws. So she was gonna have gloves with claws on, right? And one of what I want for her ultimate, and I really want this in a game, is basically the claws, the knives that are on them, they just come out and they spread, they start orbiting around her and they chase after whoever she's trying to kill, right? And yeah, and she utilizes her environment, jumps on, you know, trees and buildings and just is consistently dashing. So I'll try and mimic how she would fight if I could give her what I was wanting. But just basically always leaping, you know, hard to hit. That's what I want, but there's really not a style in this game that would do that, because that would be ridiculously hard to animate and replicate. But, so that's the closest thing I did, and, you know, she's just kind of losing her sanity as she's going on. And that's why I chose, like, her voice and her mannerisms, everything. I want to portray that and give that aura of, like, if you run into this chick, you are going to die unless you know how to defend yourself. And then Zelik is another one of the vampiric lords, so he's like a really short, he's one of the vampiric lords of power. So I created him with a very powerful style. A giant, and he actually does wield an axe in my, you know, when I created him and had his story. So he's just all about power. You know, I'm going to destroy you. You're not going to survive. This is what power is, and power is literally what makes the world go round. Only the strong will survive. And he ends up siding with Cross through this controversy, right? Because he's like, yeah, power will prevail. Weak people need to die. Oh man, I'm getting my butt kicked. I don't play this style that much, so. As you can tell, his style's really slow, but he hits like a truck. You know, just boom.
Be quiet.
I'm not done.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Battle 3. Let us fight.
What's this?
Here goes. You're good.
Let's see if I can get this out on him. Nice. Oh shit, maybe I can do it again. Yup. Off you go. Holy crap. That was a long toss. But I like how he looks, you know, he's just all about power. So he's like a side character. I'm not really focusing on every single character having a story. So he basically just agrees. I was like, yeah, that's right. Human beings are crap. They just need to die.
Welcome to the stage
And,
of
you know,
history.
I want the story to really test people's morals, because someone, you know, reading the story would be like, no.
Cervantes.
Or some might agree with them, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. This next one is Brayden. He's one of the supporting characters in my little story. I'm hoping to do like a D&D campaign on this, because this story is really universal and
Now,
could really
the noble
like
wolves carve their
be used in
souls
almost
into their
anything.
swords.
Brayden's kind of the hothead, super confident one, like, oh yeah, I'm awesome, like, you know, kind of doesn't take life too seriously. So, this is kind of what I decided he would be like. He does have dual swords in my book that I'm writing on these characters.
Justice is for losers. Come on now.
Oh, crap.
Justice is for losers. Justice is for losers. How's this?
I was hoping she'd get closer. You know, that's kind of what he does. He's eager to prove
Victory
himself.
goes to the last one
So his mom
standing.
always like is worried about him. He's like, you're gonna end up getting yourself killed. And he's like, I can handle myself. You worry too much, Mom. Jeez, everyone's kind of weak, and I train every day with, you know, so-and-so. I'm not gonna tell your name because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But he's like, I train every day. I got this. You know. Ow, damn, look at my butt kicked.
Come on now.
Oh, that was good. Damn. 2B's one of the hardest characters I generally fight. I have a hard time with her. Oh my god, because she has like an answer to everything.
Justice is for losers.
Nope, too late. Oh, you can go. That's okay.
Justice is for losers. How's this? Man, you're a letdown.
Victory goes to the last.
Battle 4. Fight. Come on now.
And he's I forgot to tell you about Brayden's story. Brayden's actually a werewolf, like a true werewolf. The whole point of the story is he is an actual pure werewolf from birth from the goddess of all werewolves, because originally, and this is just, again, this isn't canon, I'm not trying to follow actual supernatural stuff, I'm kind of doing my own thing with it. My supernatural canon of this is, werewolves never truly existed until one of the vampiric gods broke away from their mortality. That brings me to the next character. I'm gonna go back to Brayden because I want this to all make sense.
Welcome to the stage of history retold.
So this brings me to Mila, which was originally, this is what I have for her. She was originally a vampiric lord, but decided to break away from being a god, which she still technically is.
Unknown soul.
But she basically, she can't ever get rid of her curse. She knows that being a vampiric god is a curse, or a lord, the gods of vampires. She's just like, this is a curse, this isn't a blessing. We have to kill people to stay alive. Like, yes, we don't have to necessarily drink blood of people, but that's what gives us substance and gives, makes us stronger. Where eating regular food will just, keep us alive and hold us over. If we need to, if we need to heal, or, if we want to do anything better and quicker, we have to have human blood. Which is why Frost is kind of reluctant to kill human beings, because they are a value commodity to him. He also hates humans because he thinks they're just crap. They treat them like cattle, basically. And a lot of people go over this, but he's like, these, basically, in a nutshell, Frost believes humans are like cattle with intelligence. So treat them respectfully if they've earned it. And treat them like an equal. But if they're gonna act like pieces of crap, he's gonna treat them like pieces of crap. So that's just how Frost sees humans. Where in most lore, in most vampiric lore, vampires just see humans as things to manipulate and take advantage of and use as a means to an end. Which, it really depends on the person for, oh wow, he just freaking grabbed me, what a deal though. But that's basically how, and Milo's like completely opposite. She originally agreed with him, but she saw some things that Frost was doing, like he killed a mom for killing her child when this little infant stole, and he's like, I don't care how old you are, there's no exceptions to these rules, basically, the penalty is death. So she's like, please, have mercy. He's like, no, this is a no-tolerance policy. You should be, as a parent, be teaching your child right from wrong. And he ends up killing the mom. And he's like, well, whatever. I guess your mom paid for your mistake. So, and so Milo was like, when she saw that was kind of a come to aha moment. She was like, what the hell, that's not right. Are we really better than human beings when we're like the exact same? We're terrible. We just killed someone when we're saying we shouldn't kill them. That's not right. So she ends up doing millennia. You have to realize these are vampire lords. They live for hundreds of millions of years. So she does more millennia of research and finds out that it's really not a blessing; it's a curse. And she finds a ritual to tear away and get rid of her curse as she sees it. I'm just going to keep playing until I'm done with the story here. And she essentially finds a way to get rid of being a vampiric lord, and she can't live without that, because that's just who she is. That's like, you separate the mind from the body, the body can't live without the mind. Same concept here. She can't live without having some sort of something. So eventually she meets the true god of the universe that she was born in, and strikes a deal with him. Is like, look, I don't want to be this. I know this is what you've chosen for me, and this god, which is the god of chaos, which is what I used to have that character created, but I gave it to my buddy. He strikes a deal with her. Well, it's basically the god of chaos, but also the god of order. It's the blood. Well, it's my character, Bloodmender. And she goes, look, I don't want this. And he goes, well, I'll strike a deal with you. I don't really like what a certain someone is doing. You're not going to remember any of this, because, that's not why I created you. So I'll reborn you, and you will be the goddess of the wolves. and she agrees to this, and that's when her whole body changes. She gets blue eyes. She's also the mother of nature, so that's basically what wolves have always been throughout a lot of pantheons. Wolves have been considered sacred creatures in Native American, in Celtic lore, and really almost every lore. So she is basically the goddess of nature, which is why I have her have these, you know, the vines wrapping around her face and her body, and she's, you know, she has the silver hair, and she's supposed to look pure. I think pure, pure, and I want her to also, and since she is now the goddess of the wolves, she now has a functioning human body, so she can have children, she can eat, she doesn't have to sustain herself with blood. But when Mila did this, she became a threat to the vampires, right? Because they ended up teaching humans how to kill these vampiric lords. So to combat this, that's where the pipe series came in. Trost instructed Jade, which I'll show you shortly, to make these pipe series. But he kind of gave her free reign because Jade, Trost, Velix, they were all allied together. And it was just like, okay, make something that can surpass us. And Jade's like, okay, I can do that. She is studied genetics and, you know, biology and science for 4,000 years. So she ended up making the pipe series, which is, this is what I did for Jade. This is Jade. And she ends up, this Type 23 was her first successful pipe series. A full functioning, technically simulated human vampire. Like, they're really powerful, but they do have weaknesses. Weaknesses being, if they get hit with a hard enough impact, they can die, because in the middle of their bodies they have essentially the blood, the blood magic core. If that blood magic core gets severed or destroyed, it's like a human heart. It will stop pulsating. It will stop pumping that blood magic through their body. So they do have human-esque properties. Oh, I suck with Baki's style. They do have human-esque properties, but they are technically not human nor vampire. And again, since they have blood magic, the only way to replenish their blood magic is to obviously consume blood. So that's why people mistake them for vampires. Right? So Jade ends up kind of wanting the same thing Mila wants, which is having a family. She realizes, you know, after she witnesses Frost just being corrupt, or just, she doesn't really think he's corrupt, she just doesn't agree with what he's doing exactly. So, you know, she ends up creating these pipe series, and she withholds them from Frost. And Frost is like, I instructed you to build me this so that if we die, we have a way to continue on this legacy, and you are denying, you know, you are basically withholding this information that I, you know, and so she ends up leaving this, it's just a big story, but she ends up leaving, you know, Trost's side. She has to go into hiding, because Trost's like, if you're going to betray me, I'm going to kill you. I don't have time for traitors. So she has to go into hiding because she can't defeat him by herself. She's just one person against 3 different gods. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So she's like, I have to go into hiding to protect myself. And that's when she creates the type series. Frost knows they exist, but doesn't know what they look like, doesn't know how they function. And Jade essentially treats these type series like her own family. She has vampires, they're dead. They're basically, I mean, this is in a lot of supernatural lore of vampires. They are dead. They don't have beating hearts. That's why they have to, you know, same concept. She's just a step above a regular vampire. She's a vampiric lord. So they necessarily don't have to have blood all the time. They can function without blood. But, you know, it does make them stronger if they have blood. Go figure, right? So that's Jade's story, and that's how she's connected to the type series. And of course we have Susan. So Susan's just a full-on fledged regular human. There's nothing really that special about her except she learned magic from Mila. She's not the daughter of Mila, was adopted by Mila essentially. So what happened is Trost, in order to essentially take over the modern day government, which is what the story is taking place in, he had to strike a deal with these corrupt people, and he ended up betraying them, right? And Susan's, well, lineage is more in the future, but the future is more set into a 14th century, because essentially Trost is like, well, this is all you guys get to have, you don't have to have anything else, because you haven't earned it. So as we have lost this tech, we have gained new insight from, so she's one of the very few magic users. So Mila taught her how to use magic, and her family ends up getting betrayed by Trost. So she ends up kind of having a hatred for vampires. She's like, I fucking hate vampires. And when Mila first told Susan that she was a vampire, she first was really upset, but, understood that, just because it's evil doesn't mean it is always evil. There are good, there is evil that can change. So she ends up forgiving Mila, and they have a really strong relationship, a really strong connection. She sees Mila as her mom, and Brayden as her, her baby brother. And Susan is a blacksmith by trade, so she learns this, but she is technically the next in line to rule Valeria, which is this forested kingdom that this takes place in. Trost takes over, gets rid of the government, calls this new world Valeria, right? So she's technically the next in line to rule, because since humans lost modern civilization, rules and everything, it went back to pre-medieval governance, which was, there was, for each country there was a ruler, and she was supposed to rule, but Trost was like, nah, you're not gonna rule. You humans don't deserve to rule. He ended
Welcome to the
making
stage
sure
of history.
that she would not rule, and I'm gonna go back to character select, because I would need to show you whatever. I'll just go back to random. She ends up basically having to go into hiding, because if she was discovered, Trost would have, again, send people to kill her so he could stay in power. Because he's like, I'm not gonna let people take what I've created, because he believes it's rightfully his. But anyways, we'll just do another round here. And obviously he's like, no, it's my birthright. We were elected by the people to, protect them and make sure that they can live a safe life. So she's basically training with the side to basically protect people, and Mila teaches her that. And yeah, so there's just a really good relationship there. And eventually, when Xander is created, Jade's like, well, the only way you're going to learn about the real world is if you experience it. So, don't stray too far from where, because she had to go into hiding. She does live in a house, but it's hidden in Valeria. And she ends up running into Type 23, which she names him Xander Nagashi, which is, the same last name as Jade. Jade's last name is Jade Nagashi.
Splendid show of skill.
And so Susan ends up creating her own armor to protect herself, because obviously she can't, she needs some sort of protection against vampires. Mila ends up blessing that armor with magic, so really no magical forces can penetrate that armor and kill her. She would have to be killed strictly through battle. So basically, this is where the romance comes in, because obviously, without romance, what good is the story? So Susan ends up meeting Xander, right? And Xander has really no knowledge of who he was, because again, Type series are corpses. They had a previous life before their actual resurrection. So he doesn't, in order for the blood magic to actually take hold and sustain itself, Jade has to basically eliminate all memories of their previous life. So he was someone else, but he doesn't remember. So Susan ends up meeting Type 23, which is Xander right here. And she, takes him in, she holds him captive because she doesn't know what the hell he is. She's like, he's not a vampire yet, he's not, well, first he's like, there's no way he's a vampire, he's just clueless. He's like an innocent child, right? Like, he takes everything super literal. Just like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking at this weird object. You mean a tree? It's like, yeah, I've never seen one before. You know, because he doesn't know. It's like, I've just read about them, right? It's just like, how do you not seen it? You know, like a normal person, how have you not seen a tree? Like, there's trees everywhere. And as Xander kind of learns more about the world and Susan is teaching her, she starts falling in love with him, right? And as Xander grows, he starts becoming like, you know, this really great person. You know, he's like, I want to help you. I just want you to be safe. And she's like, why do you want me to be? Why do you even care about me? It's like, well, I've never really met anyone that's, you know, shown me kindness. And then, you know, she reminds him, well, you know, I did capture you. And he goes, well, thinking about it logically, you know, it makes sense. You have to protect yourself. Humans are instinctual by nature to be cautious of whatever thing is unknown to them. So I'm not mad at you for that. And it's just these little encounters that she eventually is struggling to, like, really, truly show Xander that she loves him. Because she's like, I can't love him. He's like this vampire thing, like he's a monster. And eventually she kind of just accepts what she's feeling. She's like, it doesn't matter what he is, what matters is I love who he is, and just sets it aside, and they end up together. And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. And I already have like all these scenarios in my brain for them, but I wanted to show Corrupted next because this manifestation, this is Mila's corruption, this is her curse. Her curse manifested into another person. Oh look, it's doubles, that's great. So, her corruption doesn't have a voice, it's just pure evil. Right? Ooh, well. But this corruption is very powerful and it's always hunting her. So she's in hiding as well because this corruption, she doesn't want this corruption to kill her family, right? Obviously. And Mila's more worried about, like, she's like, how will this affect my children? I have children I have to think of first before me. So she's always putting her needs of her children first over her own, which I personally love because I want Mila to be the embodiment of a mother's love, right? Because I believe a mother's love is just a very beautiful thing, you know, and I think you can really tell a story based off of one emotion. You know, so this corruption is always trying to find her and kill her because it is her essential evil, right? This corruption hates that it no longer lives within Mila. I'm sorry, I said Susan, that was my fault. So that's basically this character's story. And Mila eventually tells her family, look, this is why we can't do this. You know, I am not who I'm saying I am. And there's a reason why, you know, you exist, and it's because of, you know, basically everything. She tells them everything. So, yeah, that happens. So that's what this character is based off of, is Mila's corruption. And, you know, she has her own personal demons she has to face, just like anyone in life. But, you know, I'm trying to really tell a story that could really resonate with a really broad audience. Because, you know, everyone has a story to tell. And I want people who, you know, read this story, play the story, whatever, to be like, whoa, this is freaking insane, right? Like, I resonate with this character. I love this character because I resonate so much with them. So that's really what I'm trying to do. And that's basically corrupted. I just did corrupted for the hell of it because I couldn't, you know, it's Mila's corruption. And type and then I obviously have, this is the concept for Tross Assassins, which I named her Femme Fatale, but I'm thinking of just doing the silent one so they don't talk. They're just shapeshifters that are just in the night. They can just be pure smoke, and you wouldn't even know what hit you. But this would be them in like a solidified form. And they have different seals, basically, and they're all different. They all specialize in different things.
I'll play with you.
So this is, I named her Femme Fatale. Like lethal female, right? Oh man, not too lethal, I'm getting gang-ganged over here. Ow. But yeah, basically whenever Tross needs something taken care of that needs to be killed and no one needs to know, he sends the silent ones. They're basically his elite assassins. It's like, this person's becoming a pain in my neck, kill them, and obviously be discreet, because we don't need people finding out this crap. Again, corruption, but corruption, but for the right like, you know what I mean? He's doing the wrong things for the right reasons. Like, he's doing bad things not for personal gain, but to forge a perfect world. Just going about it is probably not really the best way of doing it. So yeah, that's basically, there's not really much of a story for the Silent Ones other than that, and it's, again, things that, beings that Frost has created, because, he's a very powerful vampiric lord, as they all are.
Welcome to the stage of history retold.
But since Frost was able to hone all of that knowledge, he's able to get even stronger, basically. And then of course there's Type 15, which I'll show you. And then basically in the story, when Type 47 hits a certain point, she goes into a second stage, which is more of a decayed stage. And basically the blood magic is quite unstable, so it's enhancing her muscles, it's enhancing everything. But it's showing, and that's what I did for that, her right eye, I guess left eye technically,
now,
is you're seeing that metal.
Carve their souls
They're no longer have a skeletal system, it's just pure metal simulated skeletal system.
Very well.
So, generally the Type series way on average about 250 pounds to 300 pounds. Within a normal society, that's superiorly unhealthy, right? And so I just decided to give her this berserker mode, right? Because she's just the embodiment of power mode. And she just has this metal bar because she's just like, the whole world wants to fucking die because she's just mentally unstable. Because, this power is just overwhelming her to the point where she is not mentally fit to really do anything except kill.
I give you.
So you see the gloves, you see the chains, you just see her muscles are enhanced.
I give you.
You see the metal spikes coming out of her body. Like, she is legit. The thing is, she doesn't feel this pain because the power that coursing through her body is pretty much nullifying the pain. So to someone who would see this would be like an absolute horror to see. You just see someone like with metal protruding out of their body, and they look like they're just suffering, like they're decaying. And then eventually she does die, but it takes her a while to die. So that is the
Welcome to the
beauty
stage of
Type
history
47.
retold.
More created her to be the embodiment of. There are people out there that just want violence and hate the world, and they don't know why. And then Type 15 is a failed prototype that Jade created that she can't speak, but, you know, she, essentially with blood magic, if you're not a compatible host, it takes something from you. So with Type 47, since she wasn't a compatible host, it took away her sanity. Type 15, it took away her voice. And she is decaying as well. But she's not losing her mind. She's just slowly dying, slowly deteriorating. And through the story, Jade has tried a bajillion times, but, you know, Jade has never really tried playing God because she didn't believe in it. It's like, it's not really up to us to decide what should live and what should die. That's just the natural cycle of life. So when she decided to do this, she was, you know, she didn't know anything of it. So she had to. This is not like, oh, I know everything there is to know about necromancy. You know, seeing as vampires have a conscience, they all have beliefs. They're all people, right? And so Jade is just like, I really don't want to dive into necromancy. You know, where some vampires would think that's not a big deal. Jade's the one that's like, no. She's just like, we probably shouldn't be playing things that we don't know much about.
Battle reach my goal. Fight.
Get off my stage, boy. Whee! But yeah, that's basically Type 15 in a nutshell for you. And actually, what is cool about Type 15 is this is the beginning of the next character I'm going to show you. So this is her when she was resurrected by Jade, right? Well, remember that character that had the sword and the fun little backpack and was totally adorable?
Welcome to the
Well, that's
stage of
Momiji,
history
and she was alive back when the Great War happened, which was in, you know, today's life. So this was her before
Unknown soul.
Jade took her and resurrected her. She was Momiji, a girl from Japan that was just going to school, living her life, and she got killed, right? But she was part of, you know, she was learning swordplay, because if you've done any research into what Japanese culture is like, they are really big on being fit and healthy and doing something healthy with your life and productive. And kendo is actually one of the big things that Japanese people do. But this is more, her style is more based off of the Chinese sword style, so it's based off of really fluid movements, and really there's no motion ever wasted in this movement, right? Every motion has a purpose to be effective in battle. Essentially, the Chinese Dao is more about disarming your opponent and ending the fight quickly than really anything. Oh shit. So that's basically the story I wanted with her, so I made her look like, you know, a schoolgirl. She is a schoolgirl. But, you know, her life gets cut short, and she doesn't really get to live her life, so this is the reason why I say this is how Jade chooses people. So she was able to, you know, obviously, she was able to find records of what happened to these people, right, through various news outlets when that was a thing. So she found out that, you know, she got killed by Trost. She's like, well, that's messed up. She didn't even get to live her life. She's like, a 17, 18-year-old girl. Like, I think I'm going to, get people who actually deserve a second chance of life. So that's what she bases these selections off of. And, you know,
Was I too gorgeous for you?
most people didn't have the genetics to withstand that type of power. Well, that's basically the story for you in a nutshell. So, yeah, sorry if that overwhelmed any of you, but that's what I'm going for, and I really hope I can interest people in this. So, yeah, bye.